Good day and good evening, and welcome to Extreme Mount Farm with me, Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. Tonight, we're starting with farming some Seed of Sacrifice Extreme. And, well, I have the mount, so we'll see how many we need beyond that. Now, something that I just want to preface this stream with is that I've had like minor oddities with YouTube and generally like Google services most of the day. And in the 1 hour of setting up this stream, like leading up to it, I have had some frame drops. I'm glad to hear both through Brontom saying, oh, the chat is slow today, and Nox saying same, that it isn't just me. I had issues connecting to YouTube initially this morning, like just to give an example. And it's just also just been a little slow, a little weird sometimes. Overall, not nearly as bad on the frame drops as has been in the past, so it's probably fine. But yeah, if there are some frame drops, I think there is a possibility that YouTube might be having a weird day. Or something else. And yeah, the frame drops happened mainly before the stream started, and just as I started, the right around in the countdown, the connection was a little worse, but it didn't lead to any frame drops. And it says, could it be that YouTube in certain places? It could. The weird thing is that I was connecting to one VPN source, and I couldn't connect to YouTube. Like this morning. Like I couldn't. Like it would load the main page, but if I jumped around, it would say that it couldn't connect. Or rather that I didn't have a connection. And if I switched off the VPN, or I switched to a different source for the VPN, it worked again. Very strange. But I only tested Germany. But yeah. Strange. And I don't know why specifically Germany would have issues, right? With that said, hey Zaf, hey Rust, hey Gazel, hey Giraheen, hey Agent Monica, hey Brontom, hey Gazadragoon, hey Tina Lee, hey Nox, hey Aridil, and hey Yannick and Ham. Hope you're all doing very well. And Korox. So just to reiterate, the plan is that we will be farming Seed of Sacrifice. I know that I don't need the mount, but I'm pretty sure everyone else in the group needs the mount. I also see that we have more than 8 people here. So, we'll see what we do about that. It is perfectly possible that it is YouTube having trouble in certain places. I don't really know. But it is tiring to have these regularly returning problems, right? If we were to do the weapons extremes, I had a spot. Alright, Yannick. Well, the plan is, as I said, we're doing Seed of Sacrifice. I know Seed of Sacrifice is one of the longer ones because it has a mandatory section here and there. So how long it will take for each clear, of course, plays in. And how many clears we need for everyone to get a mount also plays in. Takes like 1 or 2 minutes. Well, we'll see. Is it that fast? I thought Seed was one of the longer ones. Of course, not holding a candle to Hades. Hey Matthew, hope you're doing well. And yeah, exactly, Koroks. We need 8. Also just taking a few minutes. One in the team asked if they could have a few to make coffee. So we can wait a few minutes for that while we get ready to roll. And then we'll just spam until we're done. We might even cycle some people since we're so many here. But we'll see when it gets to that. I know we need at least 7 mounts. So we'll start with that. And yeah, for those that are like, why do you need 8 for Seed of Sacrifice Extreme? Simply put, well, technically you don't need 8. But I don't recommend doing it with less. The reasoning being that there is a mandatory LB4 from the Warrior of Light. I know, Yannick, but there is a way to survive it. Because blue mages have done it. Blue mages have done it. The way that you do it with less than 8 is you have someone die. And then you rest them. And they just have to be back on their feet in time before the boss properly resets. But after the raid wight lands. That's basically it. But doing that, of course, means that everyone else is now dead. So that has a severe impact on the clear time, probably. So it's just easier to do it with 8. Is like the general idea. I'll start doing some ready checks to see if everyone's here. Yeah, that's the only way. And the reason is simply that the LB4 from the boss, it doesn't do like a ton of damage. It does you die damage if you don't use LB, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it doesn't like do a specific amount of damage. Like I haven't gone and tested it. I'm pretty sure it's just you die. Damage, yeah, exactly, Giraheen. And hey, Marcus, hope you're doing well. And we're starting with a balanced team just to see, just in case we need anything. Then we can adjust if something is excessive. Marcus. There's a big lag spike there. A giant lag spike there. Is it back okay? Are we good again? Are we good again? Can you hear me? Did anyone notice that there were problems elsewhere, or was it just my stream? From what I could see, from what I could see, it looked more like, from my end, that YouTube just stopped receiving rather than me stopping giving. Like, the connection was bad. There's also the part that... now, I was too busy looking at the frame drops to actually test if I was lagging in-game. But I'm pretty sure that YouTube is having a day today. In the meantime, hey Dark Zero, hey Mesias, and hey Zelly. Hope you're doing well. Yep. I don't think we need 16 seconds.
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our salvation.
Oh, I guess we have to respect that one.
To me, warriors of light! I am salvation.
Does he do a cast bar?
Mankind's first hero and his final hope. For victory, I render up my all.
Percentage based.
You still stand. Very well. My duty. No, not yet.
My duty. Oh, mount drop. It's that easy. Agent Monica says, I somehow only just noticed the giant carbuncle statues on those pillars at your house. It's a Kabi house. That's why it's made of books. Let's see, cat. Got that one? Right, so exactly, Zav said in game the meteors should be spread out in corners. Yep. Yeah, base solos are outright impossible. I'm guessing, do you get targeted with 2 stack markers if you're alone? You know what's even weirder is that I was just standing around in my garden, we zoned into the duty, and that was when there was a giga drop. One DPS and 1 support in each. I'll take 1 then. Hey, Ultimate Trainer, hope you're doing well. Hey, Rillian, hope you're doing well. Oh, whoops. He pulls. He's a feisty boy. He wants a fight. Want a battle. Oh, I think I goofed my... yep. Didn't get 3 fell cleaves. I was too excited to make sure I got the critical heals. That I didn't even need.
Your demise will be ours.
That looked weird. It almost looked like it didn't even resolve.
To me, warriors of light.
I just realized right at the end that we had to split them.
I am salvation given form. Mankind's first hero and his final
I assume you got this, Zaf.
For victory, I render up my all. You still stand. My duty. No.
You still stand. No, my duty.
Spawn of shadow.
No, my duty! These ads take 0 damage when not spread. The only reason I didn't try very hard to spread them was because it felt like it didn't seem like they had to go that far previously. But I guess it was just that Zarv moved far. How's it gleaming? Hope you're doing well.
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our salvation. To me, warriors of light!
My duty! I should not have used data release of that.
I am salvation given.
Hey Johnny, hope you're doing well. And yes, indeed.
Mankind's first hero and his final hope.
So yeah, Rust asked in game. LB3, wait, like he will use LB at various times in the fight, and what it means depends on how many bars he has over his head. And 3 means meteor. Oh! Another one. I don't know, Bronto. What I can say is that, like, I'm VPNing out of Denmark exactly because I'm having, I've had issues streaming just straight. Who won it this time? Zaf? But it is possible. Dark Zero says, I imagine the boss outright can't die before the LB4. I'm guessing that's the case, yeah. That he will probably just drop to 1 HP. Yeah, for the meteors, they're very big, and 2 overlapping on anyone means death. So running all the way out to the edge is the best you can do.
This battle shall be our
I didn't want a pull time anyway.
Your demise will be our salvation.
Uh-oh.
To me, warriors of light!
The weird part is, I wonder, like, yes, it is, it appears to be the case that, that he goes over to do the Warriors of Light thing at like 20%. But it takes him long enough that we got him down below 10% before he actually managed to do it. So I wonder if it is possible.
You still stand. My beauty. No, not yet.
50%. I guess it might be a case of he has to finish what he was doing. Oh, card. Hey Matsuro, hope you're doing well. And Rothkind. And Viek. When can I have my 8 Confiteors? At the same time that Dragoons get their 8 Stardivers. Hey Liv, hope you're doing well. I guess it might be similar to how Wicked Thunder does that thing on normal. Where she'll finish whatever she was doing. And then check. So if you're fast enough, you might be able to, like, get him to 1 HP. Hey Hound, hope you're doing well.
This battle shall be our last.
Whoa. Instant full heal this time. Happy birthday, Hound. Hope you have had a good day. And have a good day.
Your demise will be our salvation.
Yeah, it does look like that's what it is. He finishes the LB thing, and then he hops over.
I am salvation given form. Mankind's first hero and his final hope.
And his final hope!
For victory, I render up my all.
Oink.
You still stand.
Another one. Does this boss have a higher drop rate or something? What's happening? Don't question it. Now, the reason why I'm asking is because the reason why I have the mount is because, like, back in Endwalker, I went through getting all of the Shadowbringers Extremes done so I could access Mental Roulette. And I joined like a farm group for Seed of Sacrifice. And we did like 8 runs and we got like 5 mounts or something insane like that.
This battle shall be our last.
Rock! Blep.
Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty, to me, warriors of light!
0.6%. We don't quite have the answer yet.
I am salvation given form. Mankind's first hero and his final hope. For victory, I render up my all. You still
A punch! Yeah, I'll try. Go big. See if we can make it down to 0.1%. Surely the answer is to drop a tank for DPS. That could also be a solution, but if it is unskippable, it's mildly annoying.
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty! No, not yet! To me, warriors of light!
You know, I think the best part about this is how Brontom just barely managed to say it's unskippable as it happened. That is amazing. Now, the thing is, I think we still need only downside with non-standard team is random meteors. That is a good point. It might actually not be worth it. Also, have another mount as a reward, yeah. I thought so too, Rothkind, and I agreed with Brontome, but hey, now we know. And also, hey Leah, hope you're doing well. So I think it's safer to continue as we are. How does one join these farming events? The reason why those people are in my group specifically is because they got here first. And given how quickly we're like cleaving through this guy now, I mean, we might just like get all the mounts for everyone and then like cycle people in to get some more mounts. The location of my house you can find on the Discord community server, which Aradel just posted. It's pinned in the general discussion room.
Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty! No, not yet! To me, warriors of light!
Another one! You do this for Endbook Extremes as well, or Old Savages? That is the plan. Like, the main reason why we're doing Shadowbringers is, like, I was working through the mounts that I didn't have. And, now we're working through some mounts that, I mean, I do all of these kinds of things with Sib and Aradel, so whether they have them also matters. Does this mean we can skip Mustard Seed now? That 5 now? Yes. To me, warriors of
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty! No, not yet! To me, warriors of light!
I mean, 5 mounts and 9 clears is insanely good. Streamer luck. Well, I mean, how many runs did we do of Emerald Weapon last time?
This battle shall be.
Yeah, I don't think we're making the skip this time.
Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty. To me, warriors of light.
I stand corrected. We've gotten really good at this. What changed? The weird thing there, Gleaming, is, as I recall, they've made it so that the drop rate gets boosted when an extreme cycles out of being current for some reason. It's a little strange. I kinda get it, and then also kinda don't. Like, other possibilities is that they reduced the drop rate when it's cycled out, because, oh, now it's easy. On the other hand, they could have just, like, made the drop rate fine out the gate, right? I didn't mean to do a ready check there.
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty. No, not yet.
Nope, no Warriors of Light for you, man. Oh, no mount for us, man. Marcus says, I wonder when we'll be able to get the ability to switch jobs mid-fight. I don't think you want that. My beauty! Ah. The reason I'm saying I don't think you want that is because could you imagine... Like, you know how optimized openers and rotations are now? Could you imagine if you could switch job in the middle? How about switch gear mid-fight? You just have sets you switch between to increase your determination or direct hit depending on whether you're healing or attacking as a healer.
This battle shall be our last.
You could basically have scuffed cleric stance at that point.
Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty. No, not yet.
My beauty!
To me, warriors of light.
Nope. Well, good thing it only takes like a minute. Ye older pants off for LB game strat. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that would also be a thing. To me! Exactly, Axis. Exactly. Like, the thing is, if you could switch jobs mid-fight, then the optimal strategy would be things like... Well, the off-tank would basically be playing a DPS job or something. Except when they need to take a tank buster. Then they might switch for a moment. Like, so they have enough time to, like, you know, in case they need to get healed up or something. And then just switch back. And healers would also just be a DPS until they have to heal. And you would probably also see things like... everyone who's attacking switches to, like, to Pictomancer for the opener or something. And then after the opener, they switch to something with a better, like, sustained burst. Or sustained damage. It would be insane. It would probably be funny, but only for a little bit. Like, I think I could picture it as, like an event. With, like, a special duty where you can do it. If we had an offline mode, how do you think that would go? When you say offline mode, do you mean I can play my character offline? And then just go online later? Or do you mean as in, oh, the game also exists offline, so you can play single player? Imagine Burst would want different jobs for buff stacking. That is probably also true. What's the point of playing an MMO offline? Well, actually, Nox, there's a lot of people that basically play MMOs as if they're single-player games, and they are often the players you see complain when there is a mandatory task that requires other players in an MMO.
Your demise will be our salvation. My duty. No, not yet.
My duty.
To me, warriors of light.
Blep. Well, now our drop rate is suddenly looking a little more normal. Oh, like that, Bronto. I don't know if that... Like, the thing is that... the game would need some rebalancing. For certain things. As I saw Gazel ask in the Say chat if anyone wanted to join. My plan was, given how quickly we're cleaving through this, is that once everyone in the party has a mount, we'll like cycle in some people that don't have a mount that is hanging out at the house. But if you have to go, then like that's of course alright. No one said that you had to stay. But I know, Gazel, you didn't have the mount yet, right? So it would be weird if you specifically hopped out early.
demise will be ours.
Hound, I think what we will do is just when we have gotten mounts for everyone here, we'll just get space for the people that are there that wants a mount that is in the garden, and then we'll replace enough players for that specifically, so that we don't have like one revolving door slot. The echo becomes a permanent buff. I guess that could work. I also just feel like there's a lot of duties on the way that just doesn't kind of work with less people. The main reason... Oh. Gazel had to go. Well... Gazel's a healer, so I guess that matches with Hound also being a healer. Hound? Hound? Did you disconnect? Okay then. Should we wait a sec for you, Hound? My invitation was so heavy that the game just exploded. Yeah, the thing is, the reason why I said, did you mean offline mode as in, oh, you can just play the game on the side offline, like you just grab your character and go into offline mode, and then you can just like go back online. The reason why I immediately thought that's a bad idea is, for you to be able to go in offline mode, your PC kinda has to have the files, right? Like everything on your character. Which means you could go in and change those files, right? So like having an offline mode that could access the online mode would probably lead to some cheating. And see, the thing is, you're right there, Yannick. The thing is, with online mode, even if you had a bunch of things client-side, there are probably also some things like server-side that like if you changed files, the server would just be like, no. Like, no, that's not true. That's not right. And then just not trust the client on that. Whereas if it's offline, then you could totally be like, oh, actually, while I was offline, I actually farmed a full set of ultimate weapons from the newest ultimate that came out just now. Like, when it comes out, right? And then log in, and the server will just have to be like the best it could do is be like, I don't think you could have done that offline. Like, there could be some limitations there where the server's like, well, there are certain things that just are not available offline. But if you could do things offline and bring it to online, then the server would sometimes just have to trust you when you say that you did something, regardless of how likely it is. Does anyone remember what who was Gazel standing with for the meteors? Which corner did you go to, Rust? Southwest? Right, so the important things, Hound, is right at the start, he will set everyone to 1 HP. We get a debuff. If that hits 0, the players that are not topped up yet dies. You'll see that they're fine when the debuff disappears. So, like, we actually need to do some burst healing there. When he starts casting Limit Break, you need to make your way down to, like, the southwest corner down here. It's a really big AoE, and they can't overlap, so you go all the way down. Like, you can probably stand close enough that you can still reach the boss, but, like, you go far. Aside from that, just kill the boss. Pretty much.
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our salvation.
Hurdle? Okay, you did see it. Oh boy. Wait, what happened there?
My duty. To me, warriors of light.
Nope, didn't make it. What happened? What's confusing me is that Rust died. If Hound was out of position, wouldn't exactly Rust have survived?
I am salvation, given form. Mankind's first hero, and his final hope.
And yeah, that is also true. Doing
I rendered a
something like Palace of the Dead solo would be nice solo, like nice offline. The one problem there is, of course, that if you were offline, there's a possibility that you would be able to just say that you did it. Like, again, the prospect of cheating. And don't worry about it, Hounded, we'll get it next time. And we know, Johnny, the reason why I'm saying it's unlikely that only Rust would die is it seems like any two overlapping meteors kills anyone. So it, like, that's why it's confusing me. Or did something else go wrong? May the seed not be sacrificed, otherwise we lose share streams. Cat says, I'm pretty sure I got overlapped and lived. That is strange. But yeah, basically, my main concern about offline mode is exactly that. People would find a way to cheat. So it would be an additional point where the development team has to now be careful to make sure that people are not cheating. Kaylee had to go. Do I invite Ham or Girahid? Either one of you ready? Ham says, I am ready, but we'll also need to leave in 30 minutes. Oh. Well, we'll see what we can do. Where was, does anyone remember where Nox was? That's Kaylee. Where was Zaf? Northwest. They should make spreads that aren't the same size so I can hit people with mine without facing consequences. Wow, Gleaming. Oh, can I get the triple line this week, I wonder? Probably not.
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty.
It's going to be close.
To me, warriors of light.
Yeah, I did know that, Gleaming. The story being that those that have done Ghost Park, the final boss has this Ghostbuster and Fleshbuster mechanic. Like, the thing is, it's a big spread marker on everyone, but if you're a ghost when it's Ghostbuster or made of flesh when it's a Fleshbuster, you will die if it hits you. And there's 4 gigantic spread markers. If you're not the thing that it's targeting, then you will take no damage. It'll do nothing and basically just miss. Which means that the fact that it's 4 giant spread markers is actually pointless, because, I mean, there's 1 for each person. So you don't have to spread for it, you just have to do the mechanic right. But it's pretty funny. You might have seen that on for instance, my mentor-led videos, that I rather consistently move for it. The thing is, I move for various mechanics you don't have to move for to, like, to save whoever might react to it, so that they don't, like, waste their time. And it doesn't cost me anything to move for that most of the time when I do. But that is the reason. And sometimes that might make you think, oh, he doesn't know. I know.
Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty.
And yeah, exactly, Yannick.
Warriors of
Even if you're careful, like whether you're careful or not with your marker, oh, mount time, doesn't matter, because everyone gets each their own marker. So if they goof it up on their end, they'll die. Your marker is irrelevant. You always need on the mount here if you don't have it. Simply put, you can't even choose to need on it if you have it. Like, it'll not let you. So you just need if you don't have it. We don't have like an order in which people get them. We just let it go to randomness. And eventually everyone will have it. From what I can tell, I'm guessing there are 2 people left that need the mount in the group right now. That's fair, Hound. See, the thing is, if we were a group where there was a very, very specific rule that was anything other than, well, if you want it, you need on it, I would probably have made a much bigger splash about that. And oh no, it's this person's turn and things like that. As you may have seen that I have done on the Savage Raid streams. Which Shadowbringers ones have you not done yet? Me personally, I have all the mounts. I got the Landerwaffe 2 weeks ago. But
your demise will be our
my 2 mods that I always bring with me are missing some mounts. So before I just go on to Endwalker, I'll probably do those first. Oh, on stream?
My beauty. No, not yet.
Nope. I think we've actually not done Titania on stream. I don't think we've done Innocence either. Or maybe we have? On the series I'm doing right now. Well, the thing is, we're not doing all of them on this series. But technically, in this series, we've done some diamond weapon, some emerald weapon,
Mankind's
and this.
first hero and his final hope. For victory, I render up my all. You still stand. Then
Oh, Wrathkind, there's a completely separate reason why we're bringing a balanced team for this. The meteors that we can't skip, you see those that kill people, they target 4 supports or 4 DPS. So if we brought an unbalanced team, then there's a chance that just like 2 players over Narnia just die, I think. Oh, for that. Sorry, Wrathkind, I wasn't entirely sure. Yeah, that's true. I believe you can 2-man Innocence. And I think someone sent a clip of soloing Titania. I think Viek did that. But just because you can do that doesn't mean that that's the most fun way to do it. And hey Jake, hope you're doing well, and thank you. And also Innocence can also be soloed, well there you go.
this battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our salvation.
It's funny the way he says it. Our salvation. He says it almost like he's trying to sell you a product.
To me, warriors of light!
Nope. Like, salvations from L'Oreal. He is trying to sell you something. Your salvation. You can solo Titania, Innocence, and all of the weapons? That does not surprise me, but wouldn't Ruby weapon especially be really hard due to the ad phase in phase 2? Or can you kill one of them so fast that it doesn't matter?
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our
salvation.
my beauty. To me, warriors of light.
Warriors of Light. It is getting so far down to the wire that I'm like, I mean, I have to do a heavy swing at the end because Storm's path isn't going to connect. Hey, Judgment Dragon. Hope you're doing well. It sounds like you're doing well, Yannick. That's awesome. Kill one ad fast enough? Ah, okay. When he's summoning the other Warriors of Light, he's actually calling the other salesmen. To me, salesmen of light! They just come in with suitcases. Up, 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 up. He also just like, a big pillar of light appears over him and he just switches to a suit.
This battle shall be
Businessman of light.
Your demise will be our salvation.
Salvation.
My beauty. No, not yet. To me, warriors of light.
Mount. One more and then everyone in the team has it, from what I can tell. Yep. You rolled a 99, that is nice. The rejoining is actually just a sales pitch for a joint business venture. The Ashians are just all just really misunderstood businessmen. Like, they're not that good at their job, but they're trying really hard. They're doing it for profit. I feel like I got him really close to the south part this time.
Your demise will be our salvation.
Salvation.
My beauty. No, not yet. To me, warriors of light.
Ta-da! Emmett sells. The great stock market crash of Amarot. The whole world is a very 1920s Art Deco look if Amarot is anything to go by. So being all about that dank cash would make sense. I guess so. But yeah, in regards to the whole what fights have you not done yet, that I think Viek asked.
This battle shall be
I'm not like the choice that I make of which ones we farm is mainly down to which ones that like I know for a fact that I can guarantee someone will need. So the main reason why some are getting skipped is more so because like I have a list, you could say, and I'm checking it twice. And that does mean that there are some that will be repeated and some that just will not happen in this set.
Your demise will be our salvation.
Santa car, yeah, exactly.
My duty. No, not yet. To me, warriors of light.
Splat. Nope. Not yet. You can get close once you see the meteors falling. Probably. I just don't want to risk it because it would be such a silly thing to do. Dun 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 dun. The IRS.
This battle shall be our last.
Hey Bagash, hope you're doing well. I played too much tank?
Your demise will be
I don't know. I would actually assume that playing too much tank would make you greedier.
my duty. No, not yet.
There you go. Let's see. Also, yeah, 5 items. We basically just got full house there. Oh, look, the old darn soldier's here. Right. So, does Jake need the mount? And Ham, how are you looking on time? $10 left. If we can get going, we might be able to get you a mount in time for that. Is there anyone who's looking at their time like I would actually be pretty happy with the bouncing that is in the group right now? Hey Lilac, hope you're doing well as well. Alright, Rust. That does make sense. Thank you for joining. No worries, Jake. I think we'll do it like this. Well, maybe we can do a few, Ham, and then maybe you'll get the mount. Let's see, Rust was in southwest. That means for the meteors, you go to the southwest corner, Ham.
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be our
Salvation. Try new. Salvation.
not yet.
Splat. There you go, Ham. There you go. Easy peasy. Does Shaq also need the mount? Why can't extreme mounts always drop like that? Yeah, I know, right? You have food cooking. Okay, yeah, that might be a little bit of a problem. Depends on how much attention you need to keep at it. Each pull takes about 1 minute. So if that works for you, Shaq, we could probably get it done. Alex says, I want to try farming for these mounts at some point. It's not that hard. Like, either, like, for instance, there is the, one way you can go about it is that there is a Discord community server where there is a looking for group room, which you could try to, like, get groups together for. If you think that's scary, you can alternatively also just, like, post up in Party Finder. But these, like, Shadowbringers ones, as you can see, there's, like, 3 mechanics that we care about at all. And the rest is just smash things to bits. And that's, like, that's relatively normal for Shadowbringers extremes. So you could absolutely do it, unsynced. Jack said it should be done in about 10 to 15 minutes. Well, the reason why I'm trying to get you to do Warrior of Light with me now, Shaq, is because if we stop doing Warrior of Light... And first of all, get back in here, Adil. Then we're doing Diamond Weapon instead. Probably. You can get a few rounds before your food is ready. We can try. If you want a short break from out of that... Oh, right. Ham had to leave. Ham had to leave, so that actually makes better sense. And that is also true, Sally. If you're going with less than, like, all the players that you'd want... then it becomes harder as a result of there will be mechanics. Thank you, Ham. Enjoy your evening. When the limit break happens, Shaq, when War of Light casts limit break, you have to go to the southwest corner of the arena. It targets either 4 DPS or 4 supports, and any overlap can kill. So, like, that's the reason. Yeah, Jake, we actually, I think it was a month ago, we did a stream of doing, like, just grinding through savages. They go a lot faster. Like, not necessarily all the way up to the corner, but, like, better safe than sorry, right? You don't have to stack. It's not a stack marker. It's a spread marker. There's 4 spread markers, but they go on either all the DPS or all the supports. And they're gigantic. So the reason why you go in pairs like that has not, like, it's not because you're sharing it, it's because that's the only way to make the puzzle, like, work.
This battle shall be our last. Your demise will be ours.
And this is it. Nice.
My beauty. No.
Hey Hagen, hope you're doing well.
To me, warriors of light.
Splat. No first try. Do we have a Mexican standoff over the loot in there? Thank you, Ardell. It is a little weird, and I'm not entirely sure how it works with the algorithm, but it does seem like it helps to like streams while they're live. To like tell the algorithm that, oh, this is an enjoyable stream, so it does help. Thank you so much for the support. Oh yeah, I think they both give you like some days of playtime, and they also gave you like gil, if I remember correctly, Haken.
This battle shall be ours.
It's actually pretty funny. The first, like when I initially got to that level, I didn't notice that I suddenly had like 1,000,000 gil. Until I was going to buy something. And I was like, wait, why do I have this? And I thought it was like a bug. So for days I was scared of spending. Because what if I need it? What if it's a mistake and they need to like be able to take it back?
Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty. No, not yet.
Nope. Jack was watching the cutscene. Okay, that's fair. The reason why I was thinking it was a Mexican standoff over that set was because I saw 3 people in there. So it's like, only one of them are watching the cutscene, probably. Yeah, right, Nox. I'm here to take it back with 6,000% interest. Well, then we have a problem because I don't actually have that. I think it's really funny that we suddenly randomly realized that we could skip all that. We just cut the fight length in half by going, wait a minute, what if we hit a little harder?
Your demise will be our salvation. My beauty. No, not yet. To me, warriors of light.
Doink. Nope. You realize you can hit harder, Warrior of Light. Shudders in fear when he sees you brandishing the Glock. We could be doing more damage. Hey, Quickibo. Hope you're doing well. Sounds like yesterday you were not doing super well. That's ridiculous, by the way. I mean, like, exactly the reason, the thing that makes it absolutely ludicrous is that someone got mad over an accidental pull. I've pulled by accident. Warrior of Light has a gigantic pull radius, as it turns out.
This battle shall
But then, like, there's a, like, that's something that I've specific, like, I made a video exactly about this concept ages ago, that, like, in general, you pull, you tank is ridiculous. But it is also annoying when someone keeps ninja pulling, right? Like, when someone keeps pulling and messing up everything for everyone else. Like, that's annoying. But the biggest problem with you pull, you tank is that it's very likely to punish innocents. Like, if you pull by accident, like, that's the worst one.
my beauty. No, not yet. To me, warriors of light.
Yeah, the reason why we're farming that specific boss Harkin is because he drops a mount. And, well, Shaq is the only person remaining right around here that needs it. Because we've been pretty lucky. And also that Bokage. Like, the thing is, in the specific context that Quigebo gave, it's a boss. So it's like, even then, it's a minor detail. Like, on M4S, it isn't that bad if someone else happens to take the first punch from the boss, as long as they get healed up in time, and usually they do. Especially if it's a tank that takes it, like the other tank takes it.
This battle shall be our last.
So it doesn't have to be the main tank that, like, gets the first hit in. Depends on if countdown is in place. Well, yeah. What I mean is more that if someone accidentally hits like a fraction of a second before the main tank, that doesn't mean that there's any major problems. Like, that's not a big deal. And there's no reason to make a big deal out of it. Wow. Crit God's Bless? Well, no Mount God's Bless. Exactly, Leah. There's a reasonable probability that that most of the time you'll heal up from like random stuff. And maybe divination help, that's also true. Would I have a bigger hitbox of pulling being a Rigadin? Nope. All characters in Final Fantasy XIV are, practically speaking, 1 pixel. The size of your character is a single set of coordinates.
This battle shall
Whoops.
be our last.
Exactly, Bokash. Like, the main reasoning, you could say, for tanks being a little hissy about them getting the first hit in is that if a mob... Oh, there we go. There we go, Shaq. Mount for 1. But, like, if you run up to a pack of mobs, each of the mobs will spend, like, a second, maybe, charging at whoever pulled first. In, like, 99% of cases, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. If the healer isn't completely out of position, for instance, then the mobs will run past the tank, which means that if the tank, I don't know, clicks an AoE button, then the problem is automatically resolved. And if, like, consider this. Just to continue on that, if the healer's out of position, the reason why I'm harping on with the healer specifically is because a common situation that can happen for some groups, and something that some tanks find insanely annoying, by the way, is tank runs up to pack, the exact frame that they happen to enter combat is the same frame that the white mage used regen on them. Incidentally, like, the white mage was just trying to set up regen preemptively, but they misjudged their timing, right? Like, they want to set up regen as late as possible so that it lasts for as many hits as possible. Which, of course, also means that they need to do it early enough that they don't pull aggro, but late enough that you get maximum value. And often, these things will clash, and that causes the white mage to get aggro. When and how is that a problem? Thank you, Thomas. I really appreciate that. When and how is that a problem? If the healer is like 30 miles away, there is a possibility that the mobs will like beeline towards the healer and pass like in an awkward shape around the tank. But that's a minor issue, and also that's because the healer's far behind. They should be closer to the tank. Just use ethereal shift or something. If the healer's way ahead of the tank and the healer actually pulled with their body, either the healer used their mobility options to get ahead, assuming they have some, and then just left the tank in the dust. Like, again, a healer, white mage using ethereal shift. Or the tank is really slow. And fair enough, if, like, optimally you would like the tank to be able to, like, be in the vanguard, you know, taking the lead, and picking up the mobs as you go. But if the tank is slow, then the tank is slow. Again, it's a completely different conversation whether you should pull that much. Like, this is something that often came up in the comment sections of that video that Ariel then linked for me, thank you. That often the only way people could justify that they were doing you pull you tank is that they had an exceptionally annoying person ninja pulling for them repeatedly, and the tank didn't want to pull more than one pack for some reason. Like, it's usually some really extreme case where it's like it's close to being kinda almost sort of alright, and makes sense because the other person has been such a prick, I would say, that it kind of is like, okay, you know what, take some back, right? You troll me, I troll you a little bit back. But the general idea is that it doesn't really matter, and if you, the tank, are that far behind, or you have a disagreement on how much to pull, then use human words. Talk about it. Exactly, Bokaj. Like, the thing is, vote kek is the weirdest, most awkward thing to deal with in terms of reporting, actually. Because I might not be able to find this, but if I can, let's see. This one. Yeah, basically, the thing that makes vote dismiss really awkward is, technically, if you report, like, if you're vote kicking someone for some reason, right? They're being mean, they're intentionally slowing down the group. Yes, that is a thing. Like, they're intentionally preventing the completion or slowing down the completion, or whatever you would call it, of the duty, is technically a reason. But the vote dismiss feature can also be used to remove a player if there is, like, a greater disagreement in the group. Like, for instance, if you have 4 players and the tank only wants to pull 1 pack at a time, but everyone else wants to mega pull, the easiest way to solve this is to kick the tank. Similarly, if you have a group of 4 players and everyone except one of the DPS wants to single pull, so that one DPS that wants to mega pull just keeps trying it and trying to force a group to it. Again, the easiest way to resolve it is to just kick the person that is in disagreement, right? Now, the thing is, while that's the quickest solution in some capacity, and also just to relax Harkin's fears a little bit here, genuinely, I feel like the vast majority of players, if they join a group and they see that the tank is single pulling and they wanted to have mega pulls, they might mention it, and if the tank doesn't do it, they'll just be like annoyed. And then just leave it. Like, just, not as in leave the group, they'll just be like, well, and just leave it there. Like, just not do anything about it. Similarly, if you have someone that wants to pull not very much, and the tank is pulling big, then maybe, like, they will either manage or they will probably leave. Again, they might complain if they feel like there's a problem. Anyway, I think what we will do is that we will hop on over to do some diamond weapon. It is a lot faster than emerald weapon. But before we do that, I will be right back. And I also see that we're having some latency issue or connection issues again to YouTube, so that's wonderful. It suddenly came back after I saw a blink where it looked like my chat reloaded over on the left. Whatever. I'll be right back. And let's hope the stream hasn't exploded by then. In the meantime, sanity restored. Alright, I'm back. Hey, Mr. Geo. Hope you're doing well. And thank you so much. Right, let's see here. Well, let's start with how many in the party needs the mount from Diamond Weapon? John J says, maybe this is in a Mythbuster video already, but does jumping repeatedly cover more ground than running? Like fleeing in PvP? No. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, Bronto. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Very nice. I hope you enjoy the emotes, everyone. Remember, if you are in the Discord server and you have a membership, if you connect your Discord account to your YouTube account, or rather you connect your YouTube account to your Discord account, you'll get like a special role in there. It doesn't give you access to anything secret, but it gives you a fancy color and a diamond, like a gem next to your name. John says, I see people jumping in PvP all the time, so I wondered. There can be multiple reasons for that. Sometimes they just do it for the fun of it. Sometimes they do it so that they make sure they go over ledges and such. Sometimes they do it for other reasons. For example, if you play on standard controls. If you play on standard controls, there can be a reason to do it that is... Let me demonstrate. If I want to attack this guy, but I want to keep running this way, then if I just like run forward and then I press Tomahawk, then this happens. We don't want that, because I want to go this way. If I instead hold right click, which means that I control which way I'm running with my camera, and then I just wiggle it constantly while I run forward and attack, then this happens. And then I can just continue forward uninterrupted. The third option is I can do this. And the reason why jumping helps is that you can actually see that I turn mid-jump. But because I'm mid-jump, it forces me to continue this way, which means that I have the length of the jump to wiggle my camera to, like, fix my running direction. So some people might do that. In regards to Zav's suggestion about disabling facing direction, that is something you can do. Whether that's a good idea is a different story. See, if I disable this thing, you'll see that if I run forward like this, there's a different problem. Do you see it? Now it just says you're not looking at it. So then you have to do this. Manually turn, which means that there's a much higher chance that you're going to drift your GC, like clip your GCD and stuff over that. So I don't recommend doing it, but you can do that. Like the third, well, the one additional option you can also use, you can also just use legacy controls, because then like you do it like this. Because there, the difference between legacy and standard is that standard makes it so that the direction your character is facing decides how your movement controls work. Which means if you're looking this way, then W sends you forward, or this way. Whereas on legacy controls, it's always based on how your camera is facing. If I stay jumping, the Dark Knight won't see me. Their vision is based on stillness. It's a Dark Knight T-Rex. But yeah, my best guess, John, on why people jump a lot in PvP is some people just jump a lot in general. And sometimes they do it to like control their trajectory in a way. I haven't noticed that much that people jump a lot. Makes it harder to be targeted. I suppose that's a good point. If someone is actually like mouse clicking you, then it would be slightly harder to click you if you're jumping. Let's see. In the party, I saw 5 names that said that they needed the mount. Or don't have it. I'm guessing anyway. Maybe it's easier if I say who already has the mount. I already have it, but like I'm the guy with the camera, so okay, so me, Giraheen, and Cat. Oh, we have a lag spike again. Come on, YouTube. You're better than this. Yeah, that's a dancer, Harkin. In that case, among the people that are here that would like to join, like, can I have those that don't have the mount come over to me? So I can see how many spaces we might need. Let's see. I know Sip also needs it. Right. In that case, we would be exactly 8 players like this. Yeah, so that means I would have to invite all 3 here. So that means if if both Girihin and Kat are okay with sitting out, then we can make that work. And yeah, the reason why I didn't even consider the option that maybe the reason why people are jumping is to make them harder to target is because a lot of the time I target by just pressing tab. I also have a button to target whatever's closest to me. So jumping around when you're near me doesn't matter. I'll target you anyway. Yeah, exactly, Nox. If you don't ask, then you'll possibly never know. If you do ask, then maybe you look silly now, but now you know. See, Yannick says I use auto-targeting in Cone primarily. I actually, when I go into PvP, I switch to this. And for PvE, I do this. Because this means that it's reasonably consistent that I'll target left to right. Whereas this makes it more likely that I'll target in and out. And for the targeting what's closest to you, Ogni. Target nearest enemy here. It's a lot more effective in PvP, I would say. Or useful, almost. Maybe Harkin. I feel like it's actually not that common that people will target the biggest target. Usually when I target things, I worry a lot more about what job they are. So if you're playing a Ragged and you're also playing Machinist and you're playing against me, then yes. Anything to watch out for? There is a point really early in the fight where the boss will cleave one side of the arena. You might have to switch side. And he will also do either a spread or a stack. And the stack is if a cannon appears in front of him. And the spread is if he shows like a rocket battery. Stand your ground. Yeah, exactly, Aridel. Asking questions and learning is the core of this channel, and also pink crystals indeed. Sometimes I wonder if wearing bright red in frontline is my best idea. Well, let's just say that if people know that I'm in the front line, it's not always optimal for me to wear bright pink, because people might be actively targeting me. Supplying guy with cherry pink dye. No, actually, I make that myself. It's cleaving the other side. And also spreads, I think? Yeah, I think that was spreads. Derp. Yeah, exactly, Sally. The thing is, the reason why, I'm guessing the reason why I don't notice that people might be jumping a lot in PvP, or even whether bigger races might be more likely to be targeted, is simply because most of the time I'm looking at their HP bar and their name tag that says what job they are, which is more important information for me. So I don't even look at it. I'm more likely to see that someone has high battle high than whether they have than whether they whether they are a Lalafell. Did I need to make a ready check for you, Rust? Or was it just brain fart, forgot the motif? Okay. It's this side and it's a spread marker. It's a stack marker, sorry. Nope. Do I have this? I do have this. Tanks can take that stack mark with no issues at all, Unsynced. That doesn't surprise me. I don't know if it always targets the tank, though. Gleaming says I do my targeting by plunging to whatever gets auto-targeted. I mean, that is a strategy. The main reason why I focus a little bit more on what I'm targeting is because I mainly play like Scholar and Ninja in PvP, and both of them have their own reasons to target something specific. Which I have gone over multiple times. It's this side and it's spread. It's bread. Nope. Rigged ninja sneaking up on you would be some psychological damage. I'm just saying that in my ninja outfit is bright pink. Looks like this. It's not very sneaky. Yeah, we've all seen Naruto. It's sneaky because it's blinding. I guess the way my character sneaks is like, you know, the barbarian that multiclasses. And just goes, "You can't see me." I can't see you. Thank you, Harkin. You know, see, Crod. Holding up tiny branch in front of face. No, it's stack. And it's the other side that is getting cleaved. That's true, Azure. That is true. But let's be real here. There isn't very many pink planes. That surely has to be rare. Nope. Just a tiny bright pink leaf in front. Yeah, exactly. I found a pink leaf to hide behind and blend in with. Bronson says the Bismarck fight has actual Vano ninjas. Yeah, that's true. And so incredibly silly. Spreads and swatch sides. Blam! I don't even know if that cleave on the like on one half of the arena actually kills. Like while we're on the subject. Nope. Easy enough to test. That is true. What about the purple lizard girl? Well, at least purple is like often like darker. I'm a world famous spy. Ah, yes. The Bond strategy. Oh, it's cleaving on this side? I'm going to stand my ground and see. Uh-oh. Did it do Did you get killed by the spread marker? So just for the record, Zaf survived the cleave itself, no problem. And then died to the spread mark opening. Oh, look, a mount! Zaf wins it. Or shattering ground in the middle of the air there. Yeah, I'm just that good. I smash the sky. Exactly, Nox. I'm a world famous spy. So you're terrible at your job. Welcome back, Pronto. Well, it's multi-layered in a way, Harkin. Not only are the drop rates a lot more lenient, you can spam the fight to your heart's content. You don't need to use a new character every time. At least like with extremes. And with Savage, you can spam them as soon as they're no longer like current content. But not only that, these totems here are basically RNG compensation systems. If you reach 99 of the totems, you can just buy the mount. Like you can straight up just buy it. Which means that there is an actual limit to how many times you need to do this fight to get them out eventually. What? Oh. Rescue shenanigans, I take it. Yeah, pretty much, Nox. Sometimes it gets a little weirder than that. For instance, Diamond Weapon drops 2 totems at a time, so you only need to beat it 50 times. I don't know if the drop rate reflects that. Hagen says, that's nice, I still don't have the Halloween mount after 12 years. Oh, I actually got the Halloween mount in World of Warcraft the first time I went in and, like, actually tried to get it. I think I got it, like, the 3rd time I did that fight. Insanely lucky. I've also had other cases where, like, a friend who was, like, mount farming anyway was like, hey, do you want to come along? Like, they'd like to have an extra person, makes it a little faster. And, like, it didn't drop for them for weeks, and then it drops when I'm there. I will say, in regards to that mount, that I have used it a lot. So it's not like I just went, thanks, and pocketed it, never to be used again. It is actually one of the mounts that I've used them, like, more in World of Warcraft. Because I like the smaller, not, like, the not colossally gigantic mounts. Makes it easier to see things. Sally tried to get Thunder Fury. Oh yeah, it might take a while to get that, even if you're like just speed running through. You're telling me you don't want Uber Dragon RGB edition covering your screen in light? No, actually I don't. I mean, that is also true. Square Enix is actually releasing a Manatee mount within days of my birthday. Now we just need to know how we get it. And you can be sure that if it is a relatively mundane thing you need to do, I'll get it as quickly as you can get it, probably. It would not surprise me if it's Pelo Pelo Rep. Guy ranks 23 other people into Chaotic just for Manatee mount. I mean, there is actually a different mount from that, so I think we're safe in that regard. What would be the most stupid mount from Max Height Rigaden? I've got you, fam. This would be the stupidest mount for Max Height Rigaden. The one I have is from 08S, which is probably reasonably soloable at max level. The one Hound has is from an event that isn't actively running right now. Not the pig? I mean, it could also be that. The point was just to grab a really small thing. What about the dwarf tank? That one could also work. Like, if there was a... Oh, the Dodo is also a good one. If there was a multi-seater mount that was ridiculously small... then that would be amazingly good. The problem is that all the mounts that are multi-seater, the reason why it would have to be a multi-seater is because multi-seater mounts don't change size based on the race that is riding it. But that is also the reason why usually they're scaled to match like they scale it to match the tallest race. And hey, Pest, the reason why is because you're watching some of my older videos. Like, check the date on the guide that you're watching. There's also the part that on stream, the voice you're hearing is being like transferred through OBS, whereas on the videos, it is something that I've recorded separately. Oh, mount. Aerodale got that one. But yeah, there is a lot of videos on the channel from like quite a while back at this point, where I was still figuring out what worked best for the voiceover on videos. But if you're watching like my Endwalker job guides, then for most of the jobs I have already made Dawntrail replacements, which has a much clearer and louder voiceover. So I guess it depends on what video you were checking, Pest. Right. Your lizard had glasses on, so I knew you were qualified for guides. Thank you. But yeah, that is something that if you go far enough back on the channel, a common problem was that while the content was good, a lot of people had trouble actually hearing the voiceover. The reason why the voiceover was kind of quiet is because I tested it. Like, I was reviewing my own videos with like my editor on half volume, and it was easily hearable for me. Like, it wasn't even an issue, not even remotely, so I thought it was fine. But depending on what kind of like speakers or headphones you might have, what have you, sometimes it emphasizes different kinds of sounds, and that means that a voice just speaking has to be a lot louder to like actually be reasonably hearable, which I learned eventually. And so I switched from, okay, I'll try to focus on, you could say, getting a nice voice over it, rather than like yelling, you could say. And I would usually not like amplify the sound too much, because that can also ruin the quality. Emphasis on can. But there is an amount you can amplify the audio without it really affecting the quality very much. And as I learned this and learned other techniques to make the sound better and change the mic notably, I have gotten better at making the sound reasonably loud without ruining the quality. Another reason why, for those that are curious, that I would speak a lot quieter in my older videos is because the mic I had before this one, I still have it. It's like a Rode mic. Because of the acoustics in this room, if I spoke this loudly as I am right now, you would like hear an echo in the room, which might not lead to the greatest listening experience. Whereas this mic, you might still be able to hear that, but it's a lot less. And yeah, there's not that much I can do about that, Brontome. Like, in that specific regard, you're kind of at the mercy of the simple fact that YouTube doesn't know that those videos are now, were outdated on Dawntrail release, right? They couldn't possibly know. That's correct, Iraheen. But yeah, like, there's a story there. You can also hear, if you go far enough back, when like, before I had the Rode mic, I had the Snowball, which is, like, actually right there. You can't see it because of the way I've cropped my camera. But, if you go far enough back that I was using that mic, that was when I was, speaking very loudly and very clearly into the microphone, if you go far enough back to some of my first videos, because that mic didn't pick up very well at all. And yeah, the auto attacks cleave, they're like a laser beam, so it's like a line AoE as an auto attack. So optimally you don't want the tanks to point it at others, but because it's unsynced, it hardly matters. Like, you see that we get those 8 stacks from standing here? Like, we're supposed to be like 4 players on each side of the arena for that. But it doesn't do enough damage, so we can just ignore it. Oh. Thank you, Harkin. Did it take a long time to get over the awkwardness of talking to yourself on a mic? Nope. the vast majority of my videos, I'm reading a manuscript, which I wrote beforehand. So I'm basically just reading a piece of paper. So I don't really think about it as talking to myself. What was very hard, though, and took a bit, was getting over the fact that most people I've heard don't like the sound of their own voice. Which could also explain why I had a phase of, like, speaking differently, which made it sound less like my own voice, right? And yeah, exactly, Bronto. It sounds different. I tried. A little harder with a level 93. But you know what helps you? You know what helps a lot with building confidence in your own voice? Oh no, Cat's dead. You know what helps a lot with building confidence in your own voice? Having people that say that your voice is great. That helps a lot. So that's something. Hey Ryan, hope you're doing well. Are we spread enough for that? I guess we are. And that's a common one I hear, Harkin. That I have a different Danish accent to other Danish people. And also that, Ardell, that is true. Not speaking in your natural language can help distance yourself. That is true. It also that can also somewhat help with again, like removing that weirdness of talking to yourself. Because you like it almost becomes like a performance rather than like just talking. Don't talk like you're exactly from Copenhagen. No. I think part of the reason is also more that it's, you know, it's pretty normal to learn a language while using the other language, whereas I learned English primarily by playing video games, which means in a weird way, I learned English completely disconnected from Danish. So maybe that's the reason. Talking to yourself a weird thing to do? No, not necessarily. Brontum says, I think it's funny that you can tell who's terminally online by how well their English is. Older Scandinavians have a different accent. That's true. And also, at least Danish people that, you know, are less on the internet speaking English also have something, like, have a different sounding accent. They have the extremely thick Danish accent a lot of the time. Where it sounds like the best way I can put it is that it sounds like they're just they're saying it, they're speaking Danish, but they're just using the English letters. And if you go a step further, they will also put the words in the order that you would in Danish, not English. Which is not the same. Exactly, Marcus. Like, the thing is, if it's a Danish person hearing it, a lot of the time, they'll be like, yeah, okay, I get what you're trying to say, but that's not how you say that. Like, they'll be able to, like, untangle it and go, oh, they're trying to say this. And it kind of works because they know, like, they can just translate each word and then go, ah. And it's very common, actually. But if you have a Danish person that is speaking with a strong Danish accent, but they're getting, like, the English grammar correctly, it works pretty well. I've heard that Danish English, so to speak, is pretty good for commentators, because Danish speakers speaking English are easier to understand than, like, people from the UK or America. Because Danish people speaking English speak extremely clearly. Like, extremely clearly. Most of the time. Oh, right. It wasn't stacked this time. Phew. Nox is the Swedish name of Copenhagen is Copenhagen, or København, by a harbor. You know, it's the same in Danish, København. But the thing is, it's like, I believe it's like slightly old Danish, like mildly Old Danish, and it's supposed to mean like buyer's harbor or something like that. As in, it doesn't mean buy a harbor, it means buyer's harbor, like the place where you go to buy stuff. Which would be closer to Køb Indhavn, as opposed to København. Exactly, merchant harbor. Purchaser's port. That is nice, silly. And yeah, exactly, Nox. Like, many of the big cities in Denmark have names that have some sort of origin story. Whether they actually relate to said origin story is completely separate from that. But they do have one. And sometimes a name that sounds like it makes no sense is because, oh, well, it's because it's like originally the name made sense before Danish, like, changed a lot. The origin of the name Stockholm is completely lost. Ah, really? Hey Luna, hope you're doing well. And yeah, that phase transition is pretty crazy. Speaking of which... Is Neo X-Death the first time they added a checkpoint to a Savage boss? Yes, that probably explains it. Imagine the players that got that for the first time. They're like, wow, X-Death here is going down kind of quick, isn't he? And then something weird starts to happen. And then imagine their shock when they then inevitably wipe, considering the surprise that, oh, there's a checkpoint here. That's weird. Welcome back, Rillian. Are you talking about Crystal Project? You got the ninja. Actually, Harken, the Denmark is actually, I believe it's supposed to be Dan, so D-A-N. That's how we say it in Danish, Danmark. It's supposed to be Dan's field, because mark means field. But there is something hilarious about the fact that both Dan and Mark are Danish names. And I have in my life met brothers named Dan and Mark. Like hilarious parents, am I right? They must be twins. They don't even have to be. Is Denmark fieldy enough for that? It just sounds kind of silly. If you check Jylland. Oh. Yannick left? Oh, you had to go. Fair enough. Enjoy your evening, Yannick. Can we get a replacement for a few more runs? Just a few more runs. Oh, you said it in party chat. No worries. Yureen, do you want to join in? I see Cat wants to be dead. Let's see. Nox says, Swedish scholars are guessing that the origin of the name Stockholm has to do with the way we use to prevent the harbor from freezing during winter. Which came first, Dan or Mark? Well, with the people that I knew, I believe it was Mark that came first. And then the second one, they were like, hey, wait a minute, we could do something really funny. And yes, we are farming some dragons, Kamikaze. Yep. Must be right back. Right. But yeah, considering how small Denmark is, I would say we have a surprising amount of field. That kind of works. But also silly, since you're saying it sounds kind of silly, Denmark and its people love irony. Have you heard of Heaven Mountain? Have you ever heard of Heaven Mountain in Denmark? It's a hill. It's not a mountain. It is, I believe, the tallest place in Denmark, but it's not a mountain. So when I say we love irony, do you need more information than that? I'm short, so it's a mountain to me. I suppose that's a solution. I think it's also amazing. I didn't know that it was that it wasn't a mountain until someone told me. I was like, wait, really? Nox says, my friend in Norway has lived his whole life at a higher point above sea level than the highest point of Denmark. Exactly. one way you could say it is that Denmark is is almost like height-wise, almost like someone smacked it with a hammer, just flattened it with a hammer, just. And then we still have the comedic genius to call the like a high point in the country, Heaven Mountain. Maybe in a few million years it'll be a mountain. Maybe in a few million years, what is considered a mountain has moved. Either that or Danes are quite short. I'm pretty sure Danes are like average height. But there's not that many of us. Like a few years ago, I looked into this thing about how much information a website needs to know who you are with a reasonable probability. And the interesting thing that I discovered by doing that is that if your browser was set to Danish and that information was like given to the website, they could that could narrow down the search. Like any other information that they could glean from your browser initially would pale in comparison to how relevant the information that the browser set to Danish is for determining who and where you are. Because they'd go, well, that's a Danish person. What's the probability that it's not a Danish person? Who's learning Danish and is not Danish? Not a lot of people. And how many people that are not Danish would have set their browser to Danish? And because there's not that many Danish people, relatively speaking, you add that and then a few more personal details, and then there is a relatively high probability that the website would actually be able to go, yeah, if we have like a lineup of like 10 guys, we'd be able to know which one was you by just asking them those questions. Which is interesting. I can't remember too many of the details. It was more like a project that was for fun than importance. Whoops. It's mostly Asia that has the shorter end of the human race. I wouldn't know where else people on, would be on that scale. Yeah, I don't know either. Noxus Scandinavia as a whole has slightly above average in height. Oh. Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly, Bronto. You set your browser to Danish, and I would almost say that the computer would be able to cut you down, like, to determine where you are down to 0.1% of the world's population. Probably less than 0.1%. Like, just imagine, like, you connect to a website. At the point where you connect, technically you could be anyone. So you could be anyone with a with internet. Like, that already cuts down because not everyone has internet. And then if the first piece of information it gets is, by the way, I'm a Danish browser, then it goes like, right, well, we can sort out like 6+ billion people. Just like that. Just by knowing that your browser's in Danish. And actually, weirdly silly, I would imagine that, like, while we're on the subject of that, if you are, for instance, American, so you are in the States, but your browser is not in English, then that would be an even more precise calculation, because it's like, how many people in America don't have their browser in English? That's a guess. Like, I don't actually know if that's if there's a substantial amount, but I could imagine that if you set your browser to Japanese while you're in the States, it's like, it might not be able to tell exactly who you are, but the next time you connect to that website, with or without cookies, they would be able to tell, more likely, they would be able to recognize you. Ah, yes, you're one of the, 10 people that visit our website who has their browser in Japanese, but you're not in Japan. Like that kind of information. Exactly, Orion. One of the 10 weebs! But there's a whole bunch of information that a website might ask for when you connect to it. What's the language of your browser? What browser is it? They might need to know that, because if you're connecting with Internet Explorer, they might have a unique solution for Internet Explorer. Assuming the website works at all, they might ask what operating system it's on. They might even ask what time it is, according to your PC or whatever. If Internet Explorer, then 404. Please give us your exact location, date of birth, and family tree. The thing is, that's actually the interesting part, is because the question was, how much information would would be reasonable for a website to ask your browser? Because the thing is, this kind of information that the websites ask usually is asked with the express intent of giving you a good user experience. Why do they need to know what language your browser is in, for example? That's because then they can make sure that their website defaults to the same language. And why do they need to know what browser you're using? So if they have some sort of optimization for that browser, then they can offer that. Maybe they don't have any of those kinds of optimizations, so they just won't ask. But some websites might use that, goodwill, you could say, to ask questions they don't actually need the answer to. Maybe they'll ask what language your browser is, but they only have English. So why are they asking? Because they want your personal information. They want to figure out who you are so they can serve you better ads. And hey, Canticle, hope you're doing well, and thank you. And yeah, exactly. Oh, there's a mount. I'm going to try and aim for that we can at least get enough for those that need like 10 more runs. So we'll try and do that, if everyone's alright with continuing onward for that. I know 2 people in the group will get their mount within 10 clears by virtue of totems. And we've gotten 3 mounts in this group, I believe. So if we can get 2 more mounts to drop. Oh. Someone said be right back. Wait, is it only 1 more mount? How many people still need the mount in the group? Oh, right. Irohin already had it. So if we get 1 more mount, then we just continue until either we get all the totems for the remaining 2, or until we get more mounts. I can't do a ready check. And indeed, there's also some part of it, which is also why the less information you're willing to share with the website, the more certain things, if they actually, you know, have things that rely on those informations that they ask for, those things will either just not work or they'll just, like, be generic. But I do believe there are websites, like I'm pretty sure I found 2 websites where you could test, like you could basically just have them test how test your browser, so that they could tell you how much information was how much information what you could provide, and like how impactful those different kinds of information would be, which is how I figured out that, oh, your browser being in Danish, or even your PC being in Danish, is a lot of information to share. So that is something you can test if it's something you're worried about. Nope. Hello, Cat David. Thank you so much. And thank you for celebrating 10 months as part of Cult of the Pink with me. Thank you so much for the support. But by the way, Zart, I'm not the smartest on all this, but wouldn't using a VPN specifically cause some problems for the website to look up where you are? Because it would most likely get the IP of the VPN instead. Or is that wrong? I mean, don't answer that right now. You're in the middle of an attack rotation. I mean, the point is that if you're aware of it, you can hide a huge amount of information from a website, or just give them false information. Like, as far as they know, if your browser says, "Oh, actually, I'm in France," then, like, the website was satisfied. It was told where you are. If it needed that information for some reason, it knows now. Ronsom says, I wonder if there's enough info out on Caetsu Chaiji that Akinator will find you now. I mean, I would love to hear it if that actually happens. Thank you for celebrating 7 months as part of the Cult of the Pink, Urine. Thank you so much. VPN is generally used for that express purpose. Yeah, I was thinking that. The reason why I was uncertain is because I feel like every time you're told that, oh, there's this neat trick to, like, mask your identity, like, someone who knows better will be like, not really. If I remember how Akinator works, I'm also pretty sure that to some degree, the way it knows about someone is that people have tried to make it guess it. And then when Akinator fails to do that, it'll of course go, oh, well, who was it you were guessing? Or thinking of? And then you explain who you're thinking of, and then, with some degree of accuracy, Akinator can probably assume that the answers you gave for that person is probably the correct answers for that person. And then, as it gets that person more times, it is more likely to be able to actually guess it. Is it common knowledge if you like to go bowling or not? Well, if it was common knowledge, you would probably know. You play Fortnite? Oh, Mount! Yep. If Hound gets that one, then we just need to get the totems. But it also means that Rust and Sip, if there's another Mount dropping, you should need on it now. You play a Roblox? I don't think I've ever opened that. Needs to know. Well, to some degree, many of those answers, the best you could do is say what you think is true, not ask me directly. If you know, then there's a reasonable probability that Akinator would have a chance of knowing. Asking for a genie. Do they make YouTube videos? Wow. Maybe it noticed that there was a significant, a sudden influx of a few people. Erdel says, is it Ed Sheeran? Akinator wants to know if you know. Yeah, I know. And also, hey Neil, hope you're doing well. If you're oppressed by a tyrant. And sometimes the questions are really weird. Yeah, anyway, my point is that if it doesn't know me, there's a reasonable probability it's because no one needed that info. Like, no one tried previously. Because this is your character a female? I'm confused what to answer. Do I answer the streamer or the character? See, that's very simple, because if you're thinking of me, then you say that. If you're thinking of this character, you say that. And what you associate the most with what you're thinking is what you answer. You know what's the weirdest part, Haken? Is that there's like a red gleam in my beard, but I'm actually like a darkish blonde. But it does mean that with the yellow lighting. And hey, if you think it's cooler if I am red or I have a red beard, then I can have that. There is this joke that has come up a few times that like exactly the thing that Ardell said is it Ed Sheeran? Is I look like a lot of people. He didn't know you and I'm not a snitch. Fair enough. Is it an English speaker? Well, do I speak English? Honorary Firebeard. Yeah, that's the hard part sometimes with Akinator. Is that he'll ask questions where you're like, I don't actually know. Or it's so random that it's hard to place. Is Crystal Project 2D or 3D? I think it's like... Well, it's 2D sprites in a clearly 3D world. I would say it goes in the 2.5D category. By the way, like either Sip or Rust, like when we're getting really close to the totem count, like please do like a countdown or something so that I know. So that I don't queue in and you're like, oh, I'm done. 5 more. Okay. Kaboom! Five totems. It's actually 10, because this guy gives them in packets of 2. Blam! Nope. It guessed Mr. Beast. Well... I mean, that is also a difficult one, because I think there's a much higher probability that Akinator will try to guess someone more popular. Mr. Chaiji, I mean, that also works. Is that what I should have called the channel? I guess you're a millionaire now. I mean, on the other hand, I also have a lot of problems. It seems like. I'm not following that whole thing very closely, but it does seem like there are... I don't know if I would want to be that guy. Does your character have a fox inside them? Well, I haven't eaten Caetsu yet, so... Oh, whoops. Sorry. And now you might be saying, yet? Well, I haven't. Just start paying attention, read. No. If you check a little higher, Ridlian. Does your character have a fox inside them? Akinator asked. Get on that, Chief. Does the fox cosplay count? I don't know. Is that inside? Neil says, I'm on question 80 and it hasn't guessed yet if it ever will. But I'm very curious now about the potential YouTuber from Denmark with 10 Grammys that plays Roblox. It would be really hard for it to guess because I have never played Roblox. And I don't think there's any information on the internet that would suggest that I had. Oh, mount! Rost and Sip. Figure out which one of you will save your totems. Sip. I think we're down to 2. See, Sally says Caetsu has now been warned. The plan should not succeed. Well, I don't think I would eat Caetsu. That would be such a shame. Then we'd not have a Caetsu anymore. It's just not worth it. I'm guessing this is the last one for Rust. I'd also cause some tensions in the raid team if you did that. Yeah, I could imagine that Milo wouldn't be too pleased. It would be pretty funny if we had a mount drop now. Because then we'd have both Rust and Sip on like 100 totems. And no mount. Well, if Rust reached 100 totems there, it still means that Rust can still get the mount. Is your character from the anime Gintama? Yeah, that's yes, that's the biggest issue with cannibalism. The raid team. If I remember correctly, you buy the weapons trials mounts in Modona. Did your character collaborate with Mariah Carey? I think we'd have a bigger issues if Gran was on a track. I mean, yes to both, silly. But yes, I was, after I got yoinked once, every pull after that, I was intentionally using arm's length at around the time I would estimate Sip might use rescue. And I would also move further away from Sip. Just because, you know, it would be too easy otherwise. All I want for Christmas is a chaotic raid. Akinator gave up. Yeah, I saw Shaq. I think the key difference is that I think you're paying less attention to it. Whereas with me, like, I know Sip does this. So usually when we go into farming something, I'm more so waiting for when he does it than thinking, nah, he's not going to do it this time. It's just a matter of when. And it took a lot of clears of anything before it seems like he started doing it. So if I had started using arm's length or something like that on Seed of Sacrifice, then like I would have been wasting effort. This ritual cleansing of cat is taking a while. I feel like the weirdest part is that if you rest a cat, it'll die again. And thank you for joining, Zaf. Yeah, that's also true, Sally. I feel like it would be pretty difficult because when you yoink the person, like, you might not be able to reach far enough out so that rescue will actually drag them in. Hey, Coco! Hope you're doing well, and thank you so much for celebrating 20 months as part of the Cult of the Pink. Oh yeah, baby, can't wait to watch this stream that just started. Actually. Also, on a different note, and of course, I'm saying it now so that I don't jinx it. Those that saw the whole stream might remember we had a few, like, massive lag spikes and frame drops earlier in the stream. For the last, I would say, like, hour and a half, is not, if not more, there hasn't really been anything. Almost like there's someone, like it's something else getting in the way. Because my connection has been fine all night. Just saying, might be YouTube. When new badge? 24 months. If I remember correctly, it's like 1, 2, 3. Well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 12, 24, 36. And I can't remember if there's also 48. But I just filled all of them out when I made the icons initially. I'm secretly in your closet using your internet to download bunny pictures. I mean, you could have been downloading way worse, so like, you know, that's probably fine. My connection should be able to handle that. Smash cut to what Coco's actually downloading is like 16k pictures. You can see molecules on the bunny. 1 terabyte of bunny. Ronson says 80 questions, only yes answer. Do they wear glasses? So for those that came in a little bit later, we had the funny suggestion that, does Akinator know who I am? And so far the answer appears to be no. But it thought I was it thought that we were talking about Mr. Beast, apparently. I'd be more concerned about Coco having snuck into your closet at all. I mean, the thing is, I have like 5 of like what would you call it? Like not an entire closet, but you know, like have like 5 like wardrobe-like things where you can hang clothes. And 4 of them, there would be a high probability that I would have seen it if Coco was there. But there's 1 of them that I don't check very often. So it's a possibility that Coco somehow snuck in at some point and have just been hiding in there, and I'm like, oh, that explains why my food is randomly disappearing. A closet, at least in America, is a closet regardless of size. I don't know. I'm more worried about Clove hiding in the house. Why Clove? This is why you have no more soup. Ah. Okay, Cranberry. Hope you're doing well. Clove just taking random shots. See, if Clove somehow was in my apartment and like snuck out to like yoink shots, I wouldn't notice because I haven't been using them very much. I might notice because I have other things there that might have been moved. Bonsum says, actually kind of sad that once you mention YouTube, that it's either Mr. Beast or a Fortnite streamer. Well, I'm guessing that part of the reason why Akinator guesses like that is because that's what it's been served for, like, months. Oh, that's what you meant, Sally. "35 questions before guest Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell." Not too bad. But the problem is, as far as I understand Akinator, it's basically entirely dependent on people trying to get it to guess something specific. So the more you try to make it guess me, the more likely it'll be able to guess me. And the more frequently you try to make it guess me, the more likely it will, like, aim for that. Like, if you spent days, like, or spent, like, weeks and months where, like, every day you try and check if Akinator knows me, like, maybe 3 times a day, eventually it'll have asked enough questions that it has a reasonably high probability of guessing who I am. And there will also, because you keep pestering Akinator with that particular question, that it will eventually guess it. It says, I tested ChatGPT and it knows several things about you. Yeah, I would imagine with something like ChatGPT that if you name drop me, that it will be able to know based on what things it, like, knows from the internet. Although it thinks you are everyone's warrior of light, it seems. Well, I could be. I can be your warrior of light. Man. It could be. But yeah, that's the difference, is that with Akinator, it is the one asking the questions. With ChatGPT, you're the one asking the questions. So, like, if, like, maybe you could test it by going, like I have seen this sometimes, where people will be like, start a conversation with an AI by saying, can you guess the person or character that I'm thinking of? And then, like, lay out the rules that I will, like, you can ask questions for me to clarify who I'm thinking of, and things like that. You can basically set up the Akinator scenario. I just think that there's a very, very low chance that ChatGPT would be able to, like, narrow it down quickly enough without it asking the correct questions. Like, for it, like, to eventually reach the answer, it would have to be like, is it a person who plays games? Can it ask what game? Will you answer truthfully to that? Does that person have a favorite color? And what is that? And so on and so forth. Can you ask ChatGPT what spell speed my Red Mage should have? Oh man, that is an interesting question. There was one time where I asked Copilot what would be a good starting class. I think I said class in Final Fantasy XIV. And the answer it gave was that I believe it suggested Marauder and obviously Conjurer and Archer, depending on what role you wanted to fulfill. And the only thing where I was like, wait a minute, I'm not 100% on, like, with you on that one, was that it said for Archer that it has a lot of support buffs. Like, yes, when it's a bard, yes, but I would say that makes it a bad starter choice rather than a good one. But the thing is, I feel like it argued pretty well for its case. Like, I'm imagining that the reasoning for Archer would be a good choice is because you're more of a support in the optics of the AI. You're, like, you can be more, like, you don't have to focus as much on being the best because you're supporting the better guys. ChatGPT is great at sounding confident about the correctness of its nonsense. Yes. Humans are as well, actually. Was I the kind of Chaiji this whole time? Was I dangerous this whole time? Oh man. You have become Caetsu Chaiji. Dun, dun, dun. There's no way it's gonna guess the biggest name on YouTube. Yeah, that's the challenge, is that those kinds of guessing games, obviously it would aim to guess something that is more common. Hey, Amokius! Hope you're doing well! What says, let's see, it says, wondering if you got to try out the Monster Hunter Wilds beta at the beginning of this month. I did not. I knew it was there. I decided that option 1, if I don't actually care about Monster Hunter Wilds, then there's no reason for me to try the beta. And option 2, if I do care about Monster Hunter Wilds, I think I would have a more enjoyable experience by experiencing it for the first time when it officially releases. So I did not try it, but I knew it was there. And I'm not outright avoiding spoilers. Nox says, the less you know about something, the easier it is to be confident in what you're saying. Yes. Again says, does your username mean anything? Nope. Not really. Chaiji is just nonsense. Caetsu, I had a brilliant idea. It doesn't matter, but I had a brilliant idea. Chaiji was the name of my Pandaren monk in World of Warcraft. And Caetsu was the name of a Night Elf druid that I made that I intended to play as feral, which means that it was a cat form druid, so you can probably see the point there, you can probably see the joke. The logic being that depending on how you pronounce it, the E and the U can sound, can be missing. So it sounds like you're saying cats. And then we go one step further because I thought it was really funny that it would also sound like the thing that Deidara says in Naruto whenever he makes his clay explode. He goes, cats! But all of that is just like the origin story, but it isn't relevant. Hound says it was worth trying out the beta to see the performance. It was not good. You see, the thing is, Hound, I got that from other people trying it. And yeah, exactly, Amokius. See, the thing is, I expected that because I saw the the specifications and requirements when they released those earlier, and I looked at that and thought, that's really high. Cat says ChatGPT recommended 400 to 600 spell speed. 600 plus makes the rotation feel rushed. Does it? Did ChatGPT say 600 plus makes the rotation feel rushed? Or are you saying that? ChatGPT said that. Because it's a little difficult, because if it meant 400 to 600 on your gear, then let's see, 400 leads to a GCD of 2.45 and 600 leads to 243, which are both extremely excessive. However, if it meant like total stats, which means including the 420 base amount, then 400 is impossible, but would make sense because that would have been nothing back in Endwalker. Like, the base amount would have been 400 in Endwalker. And 600 would be a GCD of 248, which I think is like, some recommend that. Like, that can be okay. 248 or 249 is kinda okay. No, it says the actual name of my cat girl means happy in Chinese. Oh. There you go. Anyway, we managed to get a lot of mounts. As I recall, we got basically we got the Seed of Sacrifice mounts for everyone, and we got diamond weapon mounts for everyone, just barely. It's ironically also from a pandan. Wow. Huh. Cat says that ChatGPT said, with too much spell speed, your GCD and your cast times could be too short, leading to missed opportunities to effectively weave your off-global abilities, or the timing of the rotation feels off. That is correct. Okay, I would say full points for that one. That is correct. That is the correct explanation for why you don't want too much spell speed on Red Mage. That's pretty good. But yeah, we got a lot of mounts. With that said, if you enjoyed this particular stream, it helps me a lot if you leave a like on it here on YouTube. That tells the algorithm this was an enjoyable stream. It'd like other people to enjoy it as well. So thank you so much for the support. And if you'd like to be part of the Discord community server, there is a link to that in the chat right now. There you can also find a link to it in basically all of my videos and my streams, and you can also find it on the channel, like there's that show more thing right on the channel page. It should be there as well. And on that Discord server, you'll find a lot of people to play with. You'll also find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is coming up in the coming days, such as tomorrow, where we have a melee job comparison to match with the tank and ranged physical ones in the past weeks. And there's also an announcement room where you'll find links to videos and streams when they come out. And if you go to the role assignments room and grab the reminder role, you'll get a notification when you post, when I post a video or a stream, as well as about 15 minutes before stream starts, so you don't miss a second. And if you'd like to support the channel even more directly, you can choose to become a member of the channel, you can gift memberships, you can use the super chat, or there's also a Ko-Fi link in the description if you'd rather use that. It all helps support me and the channel directly so that I can focus on doing things like this for all of you and with all of you. So thank you so much for the support. And I think that'll be that. As usual, we're going longer than I had planned, but I feel like it made better sense to finish up on that. Thank you, Ardell. But with that said, good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye-bye!